Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Gears Ground Up. This is another video in our Python Interpreter series. It's geared towards introduction to Python, Python Interpreter. It might be aimed toward middle school students or anyone trying to get started with Python and open up this amazing programming language. So to get started, if you're just joining this series midway through, or if you're just needing a refresher, when you open the command prompt or terminal, you have to type in the word Python on the line, any line that you're on, and it'll open up the interpreter. And we see here that we have a Python version number and these arrows to represent the interpreter is waiting for some sort of input by us. So to review how to make a function, we do that by typing in the keyword def, which tells it that it is a definition for a function. We type in the name of the function that we want it to be. It can be any name that we want. We'll just call it test function. And then these parentheses, we're not going to pass in any arguments, so we'll just leave those blank, and then we type in a colon. And that will change the Python interpreter new line here from the arrows to the dots. This is kind of like, okay, waiting for the definition. In order to add information to the function, we have to indent. That's the proper syntax. We have to indent either by spacing 4 times or hitting tab. And now that we're indented, we can type in something like a variable. And let's say that variable is called cool points. And we'll set cool points equal to 1,000. And we hit enter. Now, Python Interpreter recognizes that this is going to be an integer. At least that's how it's going to treat it. So if we're going to concatenate an integer with a string, we're going to have to do something extra here, because what we want to also add to this function is, and of course we need to tab over again, a print message. And we want to tell the viewer or the user how many cool points they have. So we're going to use the print function here inside of our larger test function. And we're going to say print, you have, and then a space. We need to make sure we have a space inside of our string at the end, so when it concatenates the string to an integer, they're not up against each other. So you have, space, quotation marks, and then we're going to add in our cool points. But we can't just say cool points by itself, because we'll run into a syntax error of concatenating a string to an integer. So in this case, we're just going to type in str for string, and that's going to convert, at least in this line, just in this line only, the integer of cool points into a string, so we can actually add it to this print line. So you have number of cool points will be displayed, which is 1,000, and then we're going to concatenate it with a string at the end. And we do that by quotation marks. We need a space again on this side of the number when it prints out that line. So we add a space, type in cool points, yay, and then close it off with a ending quotation mark for that string and a closing parenthesis for the opening parenthesis that we had for our print line. When we push enter, it asks us again for another piece of the definition, but we're good for now. So when we push enter, we're back to the arrows. And here we call the function. So test function with our parentheses. We don't need the colon because we're not defining it with, it's not a condition like an if then or a function definition. So we just type in test function here. And there it is. You have 1,000 cool points. Yay. Okay, so that is a video on how to define a variable within the function and then call on that function and see that information printed back onto the screen. Hope you found that valuable, and we will hopefully see you in the next video. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions or you have a future video request. That's what we're here for. Take care.